Why is everyone so angry? Lately, it feels as if the world has become a very hostile place. Many people seem quick to anger. I see it at work, on my commute, and on the news. Have we really become more irritable and emotionally heightened? Or is that just the perception since we now have such increased access to so many people through social media? I don't think there's a quick, easy answer here, but it's certainly worth examining from both a sociological and technological standpoint. Let's look at some important factors that might be contributing to this feeling of increased anger and decreased patience in our society. The first is social media. Across platforms, extreme viewpoints are amplified. The algorithms tend to prioritize content that generates strong reactions, which means that extreme or anger-inducing content is pushed to the forefront. Also, online platforms allow users to communicate without face-to-face interaction, often leading to the online disinhibition effect, where individuals express themselves more intensely or aggressively than they would if they were in person. Further, people on social media often interact within bubbles of like-minded individuals. When confronted with opposing views, the reaction can be sharp due to a lack of exposure to diverse perspectives. A second factor is societal and economic stressors. In many places, there is economic disparity, job insecurity, and concerns about future prospects. Such pressures can increase feelings of frustration and anger. Communities are also changing rapidly. There are technological, cultural, and demographic shifts happening all the time. Because of this, some people might feel left behind or disoriented, leading to feelings of resentment or fear. In addition, we now see a rise in political polarization. Many countries are experiencing heightened political divides, leading to more confrontational and anger-driven discourse. A third factor is mental health and cognitive overload. As awareness grows, more people are identifying, expressing, and discussing emotions such as anger, frustration, or anxiety. In connection, modern lifestyles can sometimes prioritize busyness over relaxation, leading to stress and burnout. Further, crowded cities, pollution, and noise can add to daily stress levels, reducing people's overall patience and increasing irritability. Information overload and media sensationalism is yet another factor. News outlets run 24/7 and often highlight conflict, controversy, or negative events. Continual exposure to distressing news contributes to a collective sense of fear and panic, and can create the perception of a world in constant turmoil. Keep in mind that it's not just social media causing this. Traditional media are contributors too. A fifth and final factor is simply this idea of general uncertainty. Widespread issues such as the COVID-19 pandemic or climate change have created a set of unique emotional challenges for society. For example, the pandemic brought with it an unparalleled amount of loss. Loss of loved ones, loss of employment, and the loss of a previous way of life. Loss naturally results in grief, which can manifest as anxiety and anger. Further, the forced isolation and prolonged periods of quarantine resulted in widespread feelings of loneliness, and research shows that loneliness can lead to heightened levels of anxiety, fear, and frustration. So, considering all these factors, we have to once again ask, are we genuinely angrier, or is it that our emotions are just more visible now? Well, it's likely a mix of both. On one hand, there are legitimate societal stressors and changes that contribute to our heightened emotions. On the other, the ways in which we consume and interact with information today amplifies our emotions and makes them more visible. The bigger question for me is what can we do about it? Regardless of whether we really are inherently angrier these days, or it's just the instant, widespread dissemination of information in today's world making it seem that way, I don't want the emotion that I'm exposed to regularly to be anger. Therefore, as a member of this society and a user of social media, I need to be part of the solution. On a larger collective level, that might mean advocating for businesses, organizations, and local government to restructure the ways social media algorithms work, to promote mental health and well-being on a broader scale, and to foster community initiatives that encourage face-to-face interaction and understanding. However, I also have a job to do as an individual. I must take responsibility for how I cope with my own emotions, what I put out to the world on social media, and how I perceive the media that I consume. To help me, here are a few ideas that I'm committed to trying to limit my exposure to anger-inducing situations. Number 1, practicing mindfulness and meditation. Yoga, meditation, and deep breathing exercises are powerful tools in managing anxiety and impatience. In addition, regular mindfulness sessions can help us create a non-judgmental awareness of the present, which fosters mental clarity and helps us manage stress. Number 2, establishing routines. Routines provide stability, so following a set of daily habits and rituals can help us claim a semblance of control within our lives. Doing so, alongside setting clear work-home boundaries and scheduling regular breaks, can reduce feelings of overwhelm and anxiety. Number 3, connecting with others. Regularly communicating with loved ones, joining support groups, or engaging in community events can combat feelings of isolation, loneliness, and provide emotional support. Number 4, limiting media consumption. Staying informed is vital, but it's also crucial to limit exposure to distressing news. Setting specific times to check the news, taking breaks from social media, and avoiding both before bed can prevent burnout and reduce feelings of anxiety. Number 5, pause before responding. If something triggers a strong emotional reaction, take a moment before responding. Even a few seconds can make a difference. This pause gives the brain a chance to move from its emotional center to its rational center. Number 6, practicing active listening. Before formulating a response, especially in conversations or disagreements, ensure full understanding of the other person's point of view. This will help in crafting a more measured and appropriate response. Number 7, reflecting on past behaviors. Thinking about prior impulsive reactions and analyzing what could have been done differently can prepare us to do better in future situations. One additional tactic to note here is seeking professional support. Therapy or counseling can offer coping mechanisms and other strategies to navigate our emotions, especially in challenging times. Remaining open to the idea of getting professional care if needed is yet another way individuals can work to mitigate the anger and tension that is present around us. So, while I haven't been able to definitively answer my original question, I do stand by my original claim that in today's world, it feels as though anger and impatience are more prevalent than before, whether that's a genuine shift in societal temperament or a result of the magnifying lens of social media. However, as a member of society, I recognize my responsibility to help by managing my emotions, not just for my own well-being, but for the collective good. The emotions I project have a ripple effect, influencing my interactions, conversations, and even the digital footprints I leave behind. By embracing practices like mindfulness, seeking understanding, and avoiding reactive behaviors, I can regulate my emotions and contribute to a calmer, more understanding community. Recognizing that every tweet, post, or comment has a broader impact makes emotional self-regulation not only beneficial for me, but a conscientious choice for the betterment of society. If this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments and consider subscribing for more content like this. Until next time, mind yourself.